Hi guys, it's Papa G, and I figured today we might do something a little different. A lot of people have asked me how I get my altars to look the way that they look, and it all has to do with layering. So today we're going to take a tour of my altars, and I can show you all the little nooks and crannies in them and how you can maybe create the same effect when you set up yours. I always think of my altars not only as a place for prayer and reflection and doing spiritual work for other people, but when I set them up, I like to think of it as a piece of artwork. Okay, now this one I call my Celtic altar. But what does it start with? So it starts with this. I got it in an antique store. I think I paid $90 for it. It's just an old, short dresser. Lots of room for storage. Above it, now this back piece right here, this is actually an old mirror. It was the only thing, it was sold by itself. It had no dresser or anything with it. It obviously belonged to an old dresser or something. And what I did was I took, you can get it at Home Depot or Lowe's, this stained glass film. And, I do photography on my altars, so I can't really have mirrors. So I covered it with that stained glass, and it became the centerpiece. So if we look around, I have lots of stuff on the walls, but the altar itself is mainly made up of these crates. Now, the middle piece is something I found many, many years ago. I think in a home goods type store, is before Home Goods. And it's just this little stand by itself. And usually I put like incense stones and things in there. And I found this Celtic cross statue at the St. Mary's Catholic bookstore. So there it is, it becomes the centerpiece. And on each side, I have placed these wooden crates. I mean, they came from Amazon. It was a set of, I think 4 wooden crates. I'm using 3 here. Start with a base. Another one on top to give it height. Then we have one over here. This is the money drawing section of the altar. We have Fortuna right here. I have this little, I like to go to antique stores. This little antique, I guess it's a candy dish. And I have these little, they are plastic coins, but they're meant to symbolize money. I found this in one of my many shopping excursions. So, there's a money bag. 4-leaf clover. Here is a pyrite cube, also for money drawing. You see the big money bag down here, and the gold $100 bill. In the corner, you can see it is an athame made out of the jawbone of a alligator. I would pull it out, but I don't think I can get it out. So it's layering. It's putting lots of things in layers. So if we come back to the center, this is an interesting Shiva Lingam stone. You don't find them in solid black often. So when I found this at it was like a New Age expo. I had to have it. And I actually keep it in, this silver chalice. You can see more and more layering. It's just, don't be afraid to pile things on top of each other. We have a little statue, we have a nest with the stone egg in it, a little voodoo doll, a Merkaba. I collect redbirds, because they are the Kentucky state bird. Now this one, you see I've left a ledge. There's a little bit of a ledge here left. So I have room to put something with height to it. And here we have the statue for justice, which I use for court case work. And a lot of times you can go get a lot of ideas from other people's altar pictures, like looking on Instagram and things. So much you can gussy up a statue by giving it a rosary or a necklace. This one has a cicada, a jade cicada. And this is sort of a section for old gods. This is a wooden box that I got many years ago, just at a hobby store, and I painted and decoupaged it. It's for holding tarot cards, but what I put in it is it has some of the very baneful ingredients that I don't use very often. In this lower one, I love this hand because you saw these hands a lot in the 1920s and 30s illustrations for many things, and I just used it to keep stones in. But you'll see in the very back of it, I have several things. This is a sculpting from Jeff Cullen. Here we have the triquetra back there. There's a hex sign, there's a goddess. They're all creating all these different layers. Back there is you see a bit of an athame to the back of the sun. And that is a crown I use for Crown of Achievement work. Of course, you see I put the green man in there. A doll baby I got from someone I met at a festival. If we move up here, you see my gator heads. A lot of people put them out for protection, and what they are protecting is, this is my parents' wedding Bible. Many people were always gifted a Bible when they got married, and it was a tradition in the 60s, the 70s, I think the 50s too, where the couple crossed their hands on the Bible and had their pictures taken showing their wedding rings. So inside it shows the date they were married, so I keep that. And of course, lots of wall decorations made by a local artist, Ethan Black. Here we have the green man again. This is a wand made from a gator head. And see, it has a stone at the top. And this is an antique, where it's sort of not like a baptismal font. What am I trying to say? Where you anoint yourself as you go into the chapel with holy water. Off to the side is the kind of a window here. I just kind of decorate it up. If we move over to the Jesus altar, it's a very short one. It is a apothecary chest. And this statue was something very special. It's from the Hamilton collection, I believe. The Conjured Saint, which you can find on Instagram. Let me know the name of it so I could find my own. He has one. They're very rare and hard to find now because it was made a long time ago. But you see, once again, it's just layers. Behind him, I didn't leave him empty. There's two different pictures back there. We have the Black Madonna. We have St. Martha, Mary in the front. Perfume bottles, Florida water. This interesting lotus, which is meant for a candle, but I keep the Florida water in it. So these are the altars on this side of the room. So if we come over to this side, above the altars I do have storage for all of your spell work. The skull candles, the back-to-backs, the front-to-fronts. There is my root worker bag, an old antique doctor's bag. But This one is a good example of layers, because how do I get the statues looking like this? Because most of the time people would say, I just can't do that. I just have room for them in the back. What I've done here is you will see if I move a few of them. This is a little stair step in here. There are 3 steps going up. And there's one on this side. There's one on this side. They are simply from Amazon. They are meant to put in your kitchen cabinets for spices, to layer your spices so you can see them easily. Here, let me move a couple of things so you can see them. I don't think St. Teresa will mind. Therese. And another thing I like to do to keep things interesting is I do search for eBay for antique or vintage statuary to mix in with some of the more contemporary ones we can get today in shops. Like, he is vintage. So is this Jesus. So is this Saint Therese. If you'll notice up here, I also have a bust of her, which is vintage. St. Barbara's vintage. Now this center section, this is how tall this statue is of Mary. She's in the center of the 2. Let me move this and show you. She's in the center of these 2 stepping. Then let me move this out and let you see. So she goes all the way between the little the risers. You see this copper wand I got at an expo as well. See if you can see the skull on it. So she kind of holds and protects that. And then I've taken you can get these in many stores. Of course, you can get them at ours at Roma G's. You know, these little bitty altars. There's an eye. Slide it in there in front of her. It fits perfectly in those things. And I've taken this old antique mirror and just covered it. Covered it with religious memorabilia, perfume bottles and stones. Here's a key. If we move to this side, you can see my giant pyrite. But it's all just layers upon layers upon layers. This Madonna statue, normally she just has an empty basket. I put a sphere in it. And behind it is a common prayer book from the 1890s. Back here we have, this is St. Martha's vintage. Infant of Prague, he's also vintage. I don't know if I would call this guy vintage, but I love this statue of Francis. And I think he is from at least the 80s, I think. So you can see what I'm talking about. It's just building layers. And of course the backdrop. I put this on first, which, you know, is a runner, a very decorative runner to go on top of the table. This on top of it. And of course, and then the dove in the center, a witch's gazing ball, a Maneki Neko. Don't be afraid to just put things on top of things. Now this, what is this island? See, I do have some herbs for storage down here. This is a kitchen island. It's meant to go in the center of your kitchen. I think I got it at Big Lots many, many years ago. And I actually had a piece of glass that perfectly fit it. And then this is actually an extra place I burn candles. I found this in a Goodwill, this candelabra, I guess you can call it. You know, it's stair-stepped, but I use it for the same day candles. And the one space I do not put any candles on, I used it to put the cross. And of course a mirror below it to build the energy back up, and it gives it all this layers of visual layers. So I hope this helped you come up with some ideas on how you can create your altar. Once again, I kept repeating, don't be afraid to build things up. Pile things on top of each other. You know, I never hide anything, but they're very close, they're very snug. You might put bells with stones and a statue and something draped over top of it. You may take fabric and put around and dress your actual statues. But so use risers, use things to build height, and then fill in each of those sections with themes. Sometimes you can do that. So I hope this has been helpful. This has been Papa G. Until next time, bye-bye.